hello. We're EEFF, and before I start speaking, I just want to thank our wonderful leader, Claire. I don't know where she is. Oh, there she is. Thank you. Hold on. So, we are here to discuss a topic that hit our group very hard, and it also split numerous opinions: gender stereotypes. A teacher of mine elaborately explained how stereotypes can start off as gateways into the chain of false perceptions, hatred, hate crimes, and even worse, genocide. This chain leads to the fact that stereotyping is a topic that must not be taken lightly. Where'd we go? There we go. On that note, stereotype is without a doubt prevalent in present-day society, and also societies in the past. But we, as World Affairs Seminar delegates, and also leaders of the future, can put a stop to stereotypes and make the world a better place. For our capstone, we surveyed the lovely delegates of the 2013 World Affairs Seminar, not once, but twice. Our initial survey required the delegates to describe themselves in 5 words. We separated the delegate surveys by sexes and then compiled the terms into a Wordle, which Jessica and Ryan, they will later elaborate upon. Our second survey asked the delegates to describe male and female traits in 5 terms. These terms were also compiled into a Wordle. But before we discuss these Wordles, we are going to ask you a couple more questions. We are going to ask you whether you believe a certain word best fits with male or female traits. And then we will discuss our findings. So without further ado, will you please raise your hands if you believe that the term emotional describes males? Anyone? See no one. Now can you please raise, one person, there we go. Now can you please raise your hand if you believe emotional describes females? Okay. Well, from our findings, we found that 27 people said that females were emotional when we surveyed our whole group. However, we found that 27 females did not say, 0 females said they were emotional. On the other hand, 0 people said that males were emotional, and if you compare that to the 2 males who said that they were emotional, it shows that guys can be emotional.
Who thinks that males should be described as strong? How about females? Okay, well, only 2 guys actually described themselves as strong, but 124 of you described males as strong. 1 girl described herself as strong, and 23 people described girls as strong.
How many of you guys think caring is a word that would describe males? And what about females? Well, from our survey, we found that 17 female delegates described themselves as caring, while 40 delegates in general described girls as caring. 7 boys described themselves as caring, while 2 people described boys as caring.
Hello? Okay. So, how many of you gals think that you guys could describe yourselves, or think that ambition could describe a female? Alright. And how about guys? Okay, so for ambition, 4 guys claim to be able to describe themselves to have ambition. And only 2 delegates claim guys to be ambitious. For girls, 6 girls claim themselves to have ambition. And in the general test, only 1 delegate claimed girls to be ambitious.
I believe that creative describes male and not female. What about the other way around? Well, as we surveyed, there's 26 females who describe themselves as creative, and overall only 7 delegates described female as creative, and 6 male described themselves as creative, and only 3 male delegates described male as creative.
How many of you guys describe males as smart? Okay, how many of you guys describe females as smart? Well, 16 male delegates described themselves as smart, while only 10 people described males as smart. 30 female delegates described themselves as smart, but only 20 delegates described females as smart.
You guys probably think I'm going to ask you a question, but I'm not, so don't worry. Only 3 girls described themselves as pretty, whereas 36 people said that females in general were pretty. Synonymous to that, only 5 males described themselves as handsome, whereas overall 17 people described males in general as handsome. And this raises a lot of questions, but whatever, so yeah.
All right, how many people think leader is a female trait? Okay, now how many people think leader is a male trait? 11 women describe themselves as leaders, while 0 people describe women as leaders. 9 guys describe themselves as leaders, while 5 people describe them as leaders.
How many think that women can be described as aggressive? How many people think that males can be described as aggressive? While 1 male delegate described himself as aggressive, and 35 delegates described males as aggressive. 0 female delegates described themselves as aggressive, and 0 delegates described females as aggressive.
Hi. So how many of you guys think that happiness or being happy is a girl thing? How many think that being happy is a guy thing? So our survey found that 10 girls described themselves as happy, and 3 delegates described that the female gender is happy. 8 guys described themselves as happy, and only 1 delegate described the male gender as being happy.
How many of you guys think funny describes males? Okay, how many of you think that funny describes females? Well, from the survey conducted, we found that 15 male delegates described themselves as funny, and 19 delegates in general described males as funny, whereas 23 female delegates described themselves as funny, and 6 delegates in general described females as funny.
Okay, how many of you think athletic is a male trait? All right, and how many of you think it's a female trait? All right, so 20 girls describe themselves as athletic, and only 3 delegates describe females as athletic. 17 guys describe themselves as athletic, and 26 people describe males as athletic.
So continuing on to the next slide. Who believes that the top slide in the corner is male? Who believes that it's female? Well, this is the second survey that we asked all of you to describe male and female. The pictures are made up from Wordle. For those of you that don't know, which is where you put words into a Wordle, and the word that comes up most often is the biggest word, or the bigger word. So it's evident that the bottom slide is male because majority of you associated strong as a male stereotype. This is a closer look at the female slide. Let's take a gander. And now we'll ponder the male slide. And so, we gave you this survey to point out the stereotypes. Look closer at them, and now we're going to dispel them so we can get rid of them.
All right, so the other survey we asked you guys to do is to describe yourselves. By a show of hands, how many people think the survey at the top describes males? And how many think it describes females? All right, so the point of this is it's a lot harder to tell. Like, you guys seem pretty evenly split, and a lot of you guys didn't even raise your hands. So, when you're actually describing yourselves, what we see here is that the words used are so similar that you can't even tell the difference between a guy and a girl. And what this shows us is the stereotypes we associate with males and females really aren't true, and they mean a lot more than we think. Or they mean a lot less than we think. So this slide is actually the female slide, female Wordle.